Alright, so now that you have all of your weapons and your mobile suits picked out, and you have your gaming surface all ready, and you have your dice, and you have your rule book, there's one more thing and you have your friend. There's one more thing I forgot to mention. You need a tape measurer. Or a ruler. I prefer tape measure. So, got your battlefield here, right? And you got your troops. Now, in order to set up the troops, you and your opponent can roll a die to see who sets up their troops first, or you could both just set up at the same time. If you're not really too concerned about strategic locations. In this case, there's no terrain or anything to worry about. It's just flat. There is a section in the 3.2 rulebook which deals with terrain, but I'm just going to cover the basics, so I'm not going to get into terrain in this video. Okay, so let's take a look at what exactly you'll need in order to play. You got your troops set up with your weapons. Both your opponents, your opponent and you are fine about your setup. You're fine about the positioning of everything. You're fine about your points. You're all evened out. And now you're going to need your dice. So, I prefer to have many multicolored dice. And you're going to need at least three dice for each mobile suit. In some cases more, depends on what weapons you picked, but typically you're just going to need three, at least three. It's always good to have more, but you want to have at least three. And you're going to take these groups of 3 dice, and you're going to set them around the mobile suit that they belong to. Just so that way you know who has what dice. Give him the red ones. Give this guy the green ones. And give this guy the clear ones. So, now that everyone has all their dice, you two can actually start playing the game. So, to see who goes first in the game, you're going to need to yet again roll some dice. Take 1 die from you, roll it. Your opponent rolls a die. Well, look at that. You both got a 5. So you re-roll. You get a 3, they get a 1. You go first. You automatically go first. Or you and your opponent can maybe work out whoever rolls highest gets to choose who goes first, or whatever. In this situation, I'm going first. One thing you might want to look at before you actually begin your game, keep in mind that you'll be going first, is the different types of games you can play. There's some game types here. You can even create your own and play them against your opponent, but I have given you 4 to choose from the base set of rules. You got Point System, Total Destruction, Zombies, and Dynasty Warriors Gundam. For this specific game, we'll be using Total Destruction, which means the game is not over until the other side is completely obliterated. So that's how this game is going to play out. So, you're going first, and now you're confused. What do you do? It's the start of your turn, but what do you do on your turn? Well, you go to the first page of the rulebook, and it will show you your 3 phases. Each turn is made up of 3 phases. Phase number 1 is your decisive phase, where you check to see if your mobile suit blows up from a previous turn's battle. More will be explained about that later. Or you declare that you would like to use your boosters. Please keep in mind, boosters basically add another die roll to your movement. So I suppose I'll explain what boosters do in the movement. But keep in mind that if you boost, some weapons you're not going to be able to attack with certain weapons. Also, please remember that this video is not to teach you how to play 100% completely. It should be used with the rules and plenty of practice and maybe a couple personal messages to me if you need some help. So, it's your turn, and you want to move your Gundam. So, you go through your decisive phase, and you decide that you don't want to boost. You just want to move regularly. So, you move into your movement phase. During this phase, you roll two dice for your mobile suit. Roll 2 dice for your mobile suit, and unless their movement is hindered by some sort of damage or effect or something like that, or increased by an effect, but, you know, a little bit more complicated, but we're just doing basic. So, he gets 2 dice to move since he's not damaged or has any effects on him. So, let's see what he has. He rolled a 7, a 4, and a 3. So, now you got your 4 and your 3. What the hell does that mean? You know, what is a 4 and a 3? Take your tape measure. You measure out 7 inches. And you move him 7 inches. You can move him up to that full 7 inches. You don't have to move him all the way up. You can move him as far as you want, as long as it is no more than that 7 inches. Now, let's move the other 2 guys. Nobody says you got to move them individually, since they all have multicolored dice. So let's move them. This guy got a 9. This guy also got a 9. So let's move them. I think this guy's going to take a strategic position over off to the side here. Move him to there. And this guy is going to flank from the right. So look at that. Those Zakus are getting ambushed. Going to move him in so he's on the screen. So now what? Your movement phase is over. And it's time for you to attack. Well, how do you attack? Grab your handy-dandy rulebook and refer to your actual weapon profiles. There are plenty of weapons to choose from, as you can probably tell. But we're just going to use the weapons we have here. So, let's say I want to attack with my Gundam with the beam saber. Well, let's look at the beam saber. A mobile suit with this type of weapon only gets 1 die roll to hit, and hits on 3 or greater. So that means in order to attack somebody, he rolls 1 die. And if that die is 3 or higher, then his attack hits the other person. He must also be within 5 inches of his target. So he needs to be he needs to be 5 inches away from his opponent in order to even swing at them. You can boost and use this weapon in the same turn, which I probably should have done, but oh well. Too late now. I'm in the attack phase. I'm not in the movement phase anymore. So he needs to be within 5 inches of the opponent, which he is not, so he cannot attack this turn. Let's look at this guy over here with the beam rifle. Mobile suit with this type of weapon gets 2 die rolls to hit, so he gets to hit with 2. He hits on 5s, so these count as hits if it's a 5 or a 6. You know, 5s meaning 5 or higher. And he must be within 20 inches of his target. So let's measure his range. I'd say he's definitely 20 inches. What do you guys think? Obviously the battles would be a little bit better on a bigger table, but this will do. Then we have the bazooka over here. Bazooka, a very large weapon which has a wide range and is very powerful. A mobile suit with this type of weapon gets 3 die rolls to hit and hits on 5s. So it hits on 5 or 6. A mobile suit with this weapon must also be within 30 inches of its target. This weapon is able to penetrate heavy plating, which is a type of special ability. So, he gets 3 die rolls to hit, hits on 5s, and must be within 30 inches of his target. He is quite obviously within 30 inches. So, he gets to shoot as well. So now I take all of these, and all of them hit the opponent on 5 or greater. But wait, don't I need to declare some kind of target? I do. So, he is within 30 inches of that guy, most definitely. And he is within 20 inches of that guy, most definitely. So I'm going to have both of them shoot at that one guy. So here we go. Hits on 5 or higher. We got a 5, 6, a 4, a 3, and a 5. So, hits on 5 or higher, so 3 of the shots hit that guy right there. Now that you know they hit, what the hell do you do with them? Go over here to your rulebook, and you look at the second page in your rulebook, which will be the most used page in your rulebook, which is the damage table. After you've calculated hits, you roll the same dice again. We got a 3, a 3, and a 6. And then you check to see what you just rolled again against what each one means. A 1 means that nothing happens. A 2 means the mobile suit loses the head. A 3 means the mobile suit loses a leg. A 4 means the mobile suit loses an arm. A 5 means the mobile suit is cut in half. And a 6 means the mobile suit is immobilized and has a chance of blowing up. So, we got 2 3s, which are both legs. And then we got a 6, which means he's immobilized with a chance of blowing up. So, we do the highest damage calculation first. 6, so he will be immobilized. Then we do the 3s, both of his legs. And since he's a Zaku, I can do this. And there we go. He's immobilized and has a chance of blowing up at the beginning of his turn. And he lost both of his legs. Sucks to be him. So now that you're done attacking, and you've decimated your opponent's Zaku, it's the end of your turn. So, as you can see, strategy works very well. Flanked that guy, shot the crap out of him. He has a chance of blowing up and could possibly do damage to his fellow teammates there. Now, about the weapons. There's a huge list of weapons, but there are some weapons that are left out, mainly because I don't really have the time to make rules for every single weapon possible. So if you or your opponent come up with a certain weapon or a new weapon or whatever, you can come up with your own rules for it and play with them. You know, it's all between you and your opponent. As long as you two agree about it, then it's fine. So here we go. It's your turn. Now, phase number 1 is the decisive phase, where I decide whether or not I want to boost, and I check whether or not a mobile suit blows up. So he's immobilized and has a chance of blowing up. So what does that mean? That means that according to the damage table, at the beginning of my turn, I have to roll a die. And if it's a 1, 2, or 3, then he blows up. If it's a 4, 5, or 6, then he's safe, but he cannot move or shoot this turn. Let's roll his die. And it's a 4. So he is actually safe. Let's say, for instance, that he wasn't safe. Let's say he rolled a 2. That would mean that he would blow up, right? And according to the rules there, whenever a mobile suit blows up, every mobile suit within 5 inches of him must take a damage roll. So, that's this little radius right here. So his friends here are going to have to take damage rolls. So these are just rolls on the damage table. So the green guy took a 3, red guy took a 1. So, red guy has nothing happen to him because it was a 1. And the green guy, he took a 3, so he's going to lose a leg. But he has a shield. Now, according to the rules, you can get rid of your shield to block a damage that was done to your mobile suit. Just by removing the shield, and it cancels out that 1 damage. So he's going to remove his shield. And there we go. He doesn't have to lose his legs. So that was basic. That was a very basic tutorial on the game in its entirety. If you have any questions, comment them down below. Make sure you watch both videos. There's a copy of the rules in the description of this video. And just like I said, comment down below any questions or comments you have. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope this helps. Make sure you use the rules and practice a lot and watch this video, and you'll get this game down in no time. I will be hosting a Gundam tournament sometime again soon, so be on the lookout for that. See you later.